Unity is strength, and we must all strive for it. However, it cannot be achieved by platitudes or just empty words. One hand can't clap. And it is important, if we want to build consensus around important topics, that there be some action, some actual tangible effort to achieve consensus.
Blessings, ABR family and viewers. Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl, Isabel Rose. And in this one, the road to Republic continues to face more hiccups. And we see clear and clear who is definitely the problem. Anju Oates extends his hands to Mark Golding for collaboration, but then wants a Mark Golding to meet with Justice Minister Delroy Chuck, as well as updates from Central Westmoreland and from South St. James, what has been happening in those areas after the newly elected members of parliament takes over. Stay tuned for the details at hand. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel.
I extend once again my hand of partnership to the opposition parliamentarians.
Unity is strength, and we must all strive for it. However, it cannot be achieved by platitudes or just empty words. One hand can't clap. And it is important, if we want to build consensus around important topics, that there be some action, some actual tangible effort to achieve consensus.
So on two occasions, we see Anju Oates extending his hands in ways of his words to say that he wants collaboration with the opposition on the moving forward with the whole road to Republic, right? The constitution reform process. But words alone is not it. So we seen him basically writing to a Mark Golding, sending Mark Golding to meet with the Justice Minister. If you really and truly want collaboration, why can't the opposition leader meet with you? Why you send the man go to Justice Minister? The Justice Minister know nothing or understand anything as it relates to reform? The Justice Minister wants to move forward. Do you really want to move forward with the whole constitution reform? And this is why a Mark Jefferson Golding was so strategic with his shadow cabinet by putting himself as the constitutional affairs shadow spokesperson. That is why a Mark Golding did that, because of the chickeny behavior of a Anju Oates. Wanna watch the ride now, man? And so Mark Golding has basically responded to Anju Oates' request for him to meet with Delroy Chuck. But before I go into that letter, wanna remember an aspect of the whole leadership debate leading up to the general election, where Anju Oates was asked a question as it relates to the final court. And he basically proceeded to blame the opposition for stalling the whole constitution reform. Wanna remember that? Let me drop back that tape so you can see what I say.
We are the party that have advanced the greatest, the process of repatriating our sovereignty. I am a Jamaican through and through, and I want to see my country's sovereignty represented by a Jamaican. It puzzles me as to why the opposition is trying to frustrate this. The opposition says we must always consult the people, yet they do not want to consult the people on a fundamental architecture of our society, our final court of appeal. They are inconsistent, they are hypocritical, flip-floppers. They were the ones who nudged, encouraged, and agreed with the government that a process should be started for the repatriation of our sovereignty. Midway the process, they have turned around to say they have challenges with it. I will say, however, that on a matter as important as this, that forms the architecture of our nation, the people must be consulted. And that is why I put in place a process that would begin these consultations in a practical and phased basis, a process which has been thwarted by the opposition. Now, the leader of the opposition raises questions about democracy. On one hand, he does not want to consult. He wants the government to just act without consulting with the people, but then turns around and says that we are the ones undermining democracy. The leader of the opposition must be consistent. Democracy requires us to consult the people on these critical matters.
Mr. Golding?
Yes, Mr. Holness, shortly before the visit of Prince William to Jamaica, became a member of the King's Privy Council. So one has to wonder how he was choosing Jamaica when he did that. Anyway, to answer the question, we want to follow the Constitution, and the Constitution has been ruled by the Privy Council as the highest court as not requiring a referendum for the decision as to whether or not the CCJ should become the final court replacing the Privy Council. And that is what we think ought to be done. No other country that has moved away from the Privy Council has had a referendum to do so, and there are good reasons for that.
So in that debate, he made it an argument to say that the opposition stalled because they don't want a referendum as it relates to the final court of appeal. Because he want it to go to the people. We don't need a referendum for the final court. We never had a referendum before for the final court. So why now? All other Caribbean countries that went to republic basically are a part of the CCJ. So why can't Jamaica, who is a part of the CARICOM body, final court be within the Caribbean? Why Jamaica, under Anju wants a final court in Jamaica? Under his administration. Nothing about you know, integrity. Nothing about you is of integrity. So we can't trust you to handle a final court. We can't trust you to handle a final court. Jamaica is not ready for a final court of appeal in Jamaica. Have you gone ahead to put the impeachment in the constitution reform? Have you gone ahead to put term limits in the constitution reform? No. But yet still, you come talk about final court being in Jamaica like Mark Golding is wrong. Mark Golding is not wrong. We don't need a referendum to go to the people for a final court. Only can decide that amongst yourself. I am sure a whole heap of people cannot afford, only the rich people them can afford to go to the Privy Council in England for their appeal. It is closer and easier to get within the Caribbean if you have a case to appeal. So he might come and try to use him brain, but we see the type of person that you are. We see you are the problem. Now we see how dangerous that man Anju can be. But Mark Golding has responded with a letter dated October 3rd, 2025. And he addressed it to Anju Oates, and he says, "Dear Mr. Oates, I write in reply to your letter of September 30, 2025. I wish to state at the outset that it is my heartfelt desire that we complete our unfinished circle of independence by establishing Jamaica's full sovereignty. This means leaving both the British monarch as head of state and British monarchy Privy Council as the final court of appeal, and in a manner that our Constitution no longer originates from an order in council of the British monarch. At your recent swearing ceremony at King's House, you said words to the effect, "Mark, let us partner together to complete the work we started in making Jamaica a republic." I welcome those words as they are consistent with the reality that the government does not now have a 2/3 of majority in either house of parliament, further reinforcing the imperative of partnership between Jamaica's two major political parties if progress is to be made in reforming the constitution. I accept that the only route to reaping success in this reform effort is through authentic collaboration, as demonstrated by former political leaders, for example, in opening the debate on the Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedoms in 2010. Then Prime Minister Bruce Golding outlined the imperative of partnering together in the reform process, since the Constitution requires it. Similarly, on December 2nd, 2021, former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson wrote to you and I saying that the resolution to constitutional reform requires unity of purpose and action transcending partisan borders. This approach also accords with Jamaica's democratic tradition. History shows that in transitioning from colonial status to political independence, there was constant interaction between Norman Washington Manley and Sir Alexander Bustamante, as there was between P.J. Patterson and Edward Seaga during the seminal constitutional reform undertakings of the 1990s. Accordingly, it is you and I, as the leaders of Jamaica's two major political parties, who must establish a basis for the required partnership if the reform process is not to become another exercise in futility. Therefore, and in furtherance of your expressed aspiration of partnership quoted above, I was expecting an invitation to meet with you to discuss the way forward as a first step. However, in your letter under reply, you have proposed that I meet with the Minister of Justice. With respect, Prime Minister, that approach will not initiate the required partnership of which we speak. I therefore invite you to reconsider the matter in light of what I am suggesting in this letter and look forward to hearing from you presently. Given that your embrace of partnership was expressed in a public speech, I will be making this letter public as my response to that exhortation. Yours sincerely, Mark J. Golding, MP, Leader of the Opposition. So, Anju, no beating around the bush, no going through no third person, no going through no mediator. Man to man, meet with the opposition leader to gain this partnership or this collaboration that you so desire to move the country from being under the Privy Council to a republic. Or was it just words as usual? Because we know we know your playbook. And not really wanting any collaboration. You said out of your mouth that you don't need an opposition to hold you accountable. You don't need no opposition. But because you don't have the 2/3 majority in any of the houses, that's why you use your mouth and talk about partnership and collaboration. All of a sudden, as before it was government badness, but now you want collaboration. But then you want to have the big man a tie round like him a tie. Come straight and deal with the thing in a professional manner, if you know anything about professionalism. Anyways, ABR family and viewers, let us take a look at what the new members of parliament are doing down there in central Westmoreland and southern St. James.
Hello, South St. James. So today we began something new. For the very first time, we're hosting what we call pop-up offices. Right here in Garlands we started. Garlands is a community that feeds Moko, Niagara, Brothers Retreat, Flamstead, and all over. This is the first of its kind in our constituency, and it marks a new day, really. It is a new approach. We know South St. James is the largest constituency in St. James Parish, and we know the cost and difficulty it takes for people to travel to Montego Bay or to the divisional offices for support. So instead of asking you to come to us today, we're coming to you, and that's what service is about. with your millennial type of MP and councillor. So at this pop-up office today, we're making everyday services easier and more accessible. So we're helping people with filling out passport application forms, applying for their health cards, formatting their resumes and their job letters, or emailing those job letters and resumes to potential employers. So for those persons who want assistance paying their traffic tickets and fines online or setting up their accounts, we can walk them through that. If they need the services of a justice of the peace, the endorsements and the signatures or their photographs to be endorsed, of course Councillor SHOCKWAVE is a JP and we're offering that service here today. We have set up tents, tables and private spaces so that they can talk with us about their concerns, because Garlands and adjoining communities, your voice matter. Your issues deserve answers close to home, and we're bringing that to you. As millennial politicians, we're using technology and new ways of working to bridge the gap for the people. So whether it's helping you apply online, connect digitally, or simply cutting out unnecessary stress and costs, we are committed to modern, people-centered representation.
To my constituents of Central Westmoreland, I just want to give you an update onto what we spoke of the other day, re some works that TPDCO are carrying out on the Hudson Street and Darling Street areas and Newmarket Oval also. I also want to say the work has begun on Hudson Street. So Darling Street and Newmarket Oval will be coming to you soon. We have started on Hudson Street with some drain cleaning. As you know, these drains are in a terrible condition, and because we're going to do the work on the road, we have to ensure that these drains are clean before we can start the road work. So bear with us a little bit. There's some debris on the road, but the truck is actually picking it up right now as we speak. So soon the road will be free for everybody to pass through on 2 lanes again. So just bear with us a little bit, because by the ending of today, all of that will be complete. So I just want to inform you that we have started the progress and we will continue as we go along. Also today we visited some work that we're doing in the Witton area and in the Smithfield area. All of these areas, the drains were in bad condition, so we're ensuring we clean these drains one by one. There's a lot more to be done, but I assure the residents that we will be taking them on one by one step at a time. We will continue to update you as we go along, so once we start the other roads, we'll let you know. So please listen out for the updates, and the word is love.
And it's a good look if you ask me. I want to hear from you. Nevertheless, drop your comments in the comments section. Let us continue the discussions. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel on the road to 50K. Help me to get there, please and thanks. Get this video to at least 8,000 likes. Do stay tuned for more videos. Do stay tuned for more updates. Big up on yourself. Happy Saturday.